And here are the pieces that we are going to put together. All we'll need are these little bits of hardware, a couple of little circuits that you can buy from Amazon. And then we'll need to put in a little bit of code. Won't get too heavy into that. This is a pretty straightforward project. And then ultimately, we will end up with this. This is the full system, and I've got a 12-volt battery here powering it all. So let's just take a quick second, and we will look at the various components. And what we have here is an Arduino Uno. The version that I'm actually using in the project over here is actually an Arduino Micro. It's basically the same thing. So many of you may have heard about Arduinos. It's just a very simple microcontroller board, basically meaning that it has lots of inputs and outputs, and you can write programs to control those inputs and outputs. All right, so here we go. So that is the Arduino that we'll be using. That's really the brains of the operation. And then I have a photo sensor board here. And if you can see up close, no, there we go. So the little thing at the top with the squiggly lines, that is a photoresistor. And ultimately what that does is the voltage changes based off of how bright the light is around here. All right, so that's going to be our sensor. And then lastly, we have what's called a relay board. Basically, all this is going to do is it's going to help our Arduino, which runs on 5 volts, be able to connect to something, in particular this actuator, which is a motor we'll talk about in a second, to a 12-volt battery. So if I were to connect the battery, the 12 volts, directly to the Arduino, things would not be good. That wouldn't work out so well. And so what we have is the relay board that basically will insulate the two. All right, and so here we have the actual system set up. So these are all of the pieces put together. And what you can see here are basically the same components. So the relay board, the Arduino, and then the photo sensor. So we've got all of those, and they are currently powered by a little USB battery. So that's producing 5 volts. And the big thing in this whole operation is the actual motor itself. So this black thing is called a linear actuator, and this is what's going to actually open the door for the chickens and let them out. Like I said, it is powered by this 12-volt battery. Dan has a 12-volt battery. It's not going to be this big. I just happen to have a spare one laying around, so I'm using that. And what this will do is, as soon as I connect the power here, so I'm going to connect up this lead, and what is going to happen is the sensor is set up to where when it's light, the door opens. So what's going to happen is, as soon as I plug this in, we are going to see this rod extend out from the actuator and, in theory, open the door. And there we go, so fully extended. Now, what I'm going to do here is cover this guy up, and so this would simulate nighttime. I'm just going to take a black plastic box, cover over the light sensor, and now we'll see the door opener is retracting, just like I would have expected. There you go. I'm going to disconnect it now so I don't get a bunch of noise when I take the cover back off. And so there you have it. So that in a nutshell is the controller for our chicken door opener. And Dan is going to talk about how this all gets installed mechanically. He'll show you the whole thing. My goal really is to have covered the controlling pieces. So if you are interested in automation in general, I have set up a new blog. It is called iotfoundry.com. So here's just a quick screenshot of that. And basically, I like to tinker. I handle all kinds of automation projects using Arduinos, Raspberry Pis, various electronic boards. The projects range everything from, in this case, a chicken door opener. I also have built an intermittent misting bed controller. I have a bunch of temperature and humidity sensors, moisture sensors, you name it. I've even set it up where my kids will get a tweet when the dryer stops. So if you're into that kind of thing, or if you're curious about what you can do, get on over to the site and check it out. I give a listing of projects as I build them, so my goal is to put out a new project once every couple weeks. And they'll include the full how-to of start to finish building these systems yourself. So if you're interested, check it out. And if you have any questions, drop me a line. I'm always willing to help. I also offer a service where I can help people build projects if they're not comfortable with some of the electronics or some of the coding. So hope you guys have enjoyed. Bye-bye.